failed state. Now, the reason I give you some of that history and some background is, here's Reuters. Liberals in southern Arizona seek to form new state. New York Magazine. Arizona liberals are trying to form their own tiny liberal state. On the border is a beachhead to project globalist influence. Why does the Fortune 100 fund the La Reconquista, La Invasora, reconquering invasion movement? Not that they're ever really going to be given the Southwest. The Mexican people don't run anything in Mexico. They're total slaves. If you dare try to illegally immigrate to Mexico from Latin America, you're put for 1 year in forced labor. If you come from a wealthy country, they run your credit report and threaten to kill you and suck every dime out of your family. I mean, it's a total criminal state. But the globalists understand tribalism. So they come in. For 60 years, the Ford Foundation pays for almost every textbook in Mexico. This is all on record. And Mexico admits they have the most draconian immigration laws in this hemisphere. But that's all okay and reasonable because, they can do no wrong. Mexico is a globalist client state. And they go into the average education, 6th grade, and they teach them. America belongs to you. You're going to get the gringo. Plan of San Diego. Don't know what that is. It's a plan to take over in a race war and kill all whites below the age of 16. I mean, you can just look it up right now. University of Texas, major Mexican universities, if you know how to speak Spanish. It's taught, we will kill all whites. Now, that's funded by the Rothschild Rockefeller Ford Foundation. They went and, well, actually, the Germans first had the plan along race lines in World War I. If you want to know about the whole plan of San Diego, they launched an attack in South Texas, killed whole families, wiped out a lot in that attack. But then the Ford Foundation picked that back up, and so what they're planning to do is start breaking off enclaves to be basically part of Mexico. Already 87 miles into Arizona. They have big signs up, don't go down this road, don't go in this national park. It's basically now part of Mexico. This is the globalists are conquering us via Mexico. This is not America. No, this is not what any free society would look like. Now I'm going to finish up in this segment ahead of our guest joining us in a little over an hour with how the UN, via the big banks, is going to break up this country. Now, they won't succeed this first time. They're just introducing the idea of border states all having part of the state broken off, in this case 87 miles and south, and merged as a Hispanic race state. And that's what it is, and that's what's been pushed, and we've known about it for a long time, and that's why in Arizona, Glenn Spencer has been raising the alarm for more than a decade. But when they roll it out to you, it's like, oh, a 51st state, how cute, run by liberals that want open borders. They're not liberals at all. They're conquerors. Now, the people, see, I don't care what color your skin is. It's your brain. And the illegal aliens, I've seen the national statistics. You can pull them up. Over 90%, when they become citizens, end up being what you call hardcore liberals. Which it's not liberal to take somebody's gun. I mean, liberal would be more freedom, more guns, if you use the term as Thomas Jefferson did. But everything's turned around. They vote to take my guns, to take my private property. And, of course, they never get any of it, whether you're a socialist, liberal, white person, black person, Hispanic, doesn't matter. But they get the promise of that. And they get a little chicken feed, a little, crumbs from the table. They're being used as political weapons. We border a narco-terrorist state of unfathomable corruption. Every week I see headlines that are just buried in the back of the El Paso Times, the Austin American-Statesman, about the epidemics of kidnapping going on. I mean, we're like Mexico City now in Texas. And when it's an illegal alien kidnapping people, it's just a little footnote. Well, it's not politically correct to talk about that. And political correctness is just the cover. This is part of the breakdown of society, driving down the wages. And every week, you can type it in this week. In fact, just type more mass graves found on U.S.-Mexico border. We'll do it right now for you. If you're watching on prisonplanet.tv, if you're a radio listener, just type more mass graves found on Texas-Mexico border. Or more mass graves, Arizona-Texas border. But it's never Robert De Niro playing the part of a Texan with a Texas accent, an evil white guy with a Stetson cowboy hat, with a woman going, please, I'm pregnant, don't kill my baby. And he's like, I hate Mexicans, I want to kill all your babies. No, that's not who's killing the pregnant women. It's the coyotes. It's the Mexican military. It's the cartels that work for our criminal government. If they catch you not paying your $2,000 passage, they line up men, women, and children. I saw a report a few months ago where there were hundreds of people in a barn, men, women, children. They cut their heads off. Let's go ahead and put that back up. Let's go ahead and they actually found an article about mass graves. Mexican officials recovered 96 bodies so far in Durango. That's on the border with the U.S. There you go. I mean, that's April 27th. That's a little over a week ago, but I know I saw it in the Statesman last week. I mean, they're just digging up bodies left and right. But that's not an issue. Oh, no, because in reality, Mexico's collapsing in a hellhole run by total criminals teamed up with the Fortune 100, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase that run that place. And for 60 years, the Ford Foundation has taught every Mexican school child not about liberty, freedom, the ideas of private property, Second Amendment. Oh, they're disarmed. They don't have private property. They're slaves. I mean, in Mexico, if you're a little guy, don't come from the right family, you try to start a business and don't make the payoffs, you're dead. I mean, I've been in southern Mexico trying to look at pyramids, and the military just stops buses and shakes down the bus driver and gets a bunch of cash off of him, and the Mexican troops laugh at the poor guy when he's got to go out and do it. And see, that's where America's going. There it is. 25 more bodies recovered in Mexico. Soldiers continue to find mass graves. Fox News. Soldiers unearth more bodies in narco graves in northern Mexico. Associated Press. On and on. But see, the average Hispanic American that watches a movie like Machete, all those bodies were killed by white guys in cowboy hats. Of course, none of them were. And there's this, for many years, there's this fable that there are Minutemen at the border shooting illegals as they come across. And they actually teach people in Texas schools this is happening. None of it's true. All complete lies. But see, if you have a movie by Robert Rodriguez where the coyotes are heroes and the white guys with cowboy hats are the devil, well, see, they think perception's reality. So it's all to balkanize our country, and now they're getting ready to slice off a third of Arizona, including Tucson, to just have another breach into the U.S. and march forward. And I was on Mancow this morning, and he didn't believe me about all this. And then the callers were calling in, going, yeah, I'm part of the La Reconquista La Infosora. We are taking over. Go home, pilgrims. We're going to get you. Look, the bankers are going to use you to bring America down, and then you'll be even more enslaved than you were in Mexico. Okay? We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
All right, we've got the biggest bombshell news of the total Pentagon cybersecurity takeover of society now being publicly announced. We have a cornucopia of absolute documentation that we're going to be covering here in just a moment. But I want to finish up on this whole secession issue. The corporate media hysterically demonizes anyone that talks about states asserting their sovereignty and states' rights, and they call it secession. and make bizarre statements about wanting to return slavery and things that have nothing to do with it. Just as buzzwords, like, you don't like government-run health care? You don't like black people. And you're like, what does that have to do? And they're like, racist, shut up. Well, then you get mega corporations that fund Mecha, La Raza, all these Hispanic Ku Klux Klan groups. La Raza means the race. And again, I want to get along with people. I like everybody, okay? And they frame all Hispanics' view for them in our media that if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're from Chile, Brazil, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, doesn't matter. You are anti-America, and you're anti-American sovereignty. Well, I'm going to ask those groups, why is the Fortune 100, and you can go read who funds all those organizations, LULAC, all of it, Mecha, La Raza, and it's J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Miller Brewing, Ford, Chevy. And these groups are all pushing the North American Union, the Continental Security Zone. The deals were signed 3 years ago to, quote, use Canadian and Mexican troops domestically in each other's countries and vice versa with American troops for civil insurrection, foreign troops. And then I get up here and I say, look, you don't want to vote for people that are anti-gun if you've become a citizen. But see, they teach them racial identity and then say, and part of your racial identity is you're going to vote to take guns, you're going to vote for socialism. But then the socialist money is taken and given to the bankers offshore, not to them. And that's why this is such a threat. And America is caught in a pincer attack. From the poor people dependent on welfare, 45 million on food stamps, the 30 million illegal aliens, many of which do work hard, also have government jobs, driving down the wages. A lot of the wives stay home. In fact, I was seeing statistics a few years ago that on average in Los Angeles, illegal aliens on average are on 3 different forms of assistance. So that's how they can work for less, because they're also getting assistance. And the government knows they're illegal. Texas gives driver's license to illegals. We roll out the red carpet, but you go to Mexico, you're a piece of trash if you're a foreigner, whether you're from Guatemala or Canada. Now, here's the key to this. When you look at it, I got a guy who works in my office, does an awesome job. He is here legally. He's Venezuelan, and he'd like to become a U.S. citizen. He's going through the whole process properly. Great guy, super smart, and he hates communists because he grew up under... And then when we get into the whole story, because his family still lives there and they can recriminate against him, but his family has, he's told me I can tell this much, his family has a private school, a small private school. And the Chavez people come in and they say, and I looked it up and it was actually true, there's news reports, and they say, you're going to give the kids government assistance food in the morning, and the government delivers milk every morning, and you're going to have the small children close their eyes and then pray to Hugo Chavez, and then when they open their eyes, the carton of milk is in front of them. And I mean, that's communist-run schools. And he says the Chavez people only hire their buddies, they beat up whoever they want, they run the media, it's hellish. And he hates Hugo Chavez. Now, and he doesn't want me to say his first name because his family still lives down there, and they will kill you. The government will kill you if you criticize them. Now, is that freedom? And he's not a conservative. He's not a liberal. He is somebody who wants freedom, okay? So I wouldn't care if he had blue skin. He's a great guy, smart guy, charming guy, gets the job done, great guy. I'd say over a third of my employees are Hispanic. But then our media says that they've got to adopt the Mexican culture for all of the dozens of Hispanic cultures. They've got to adopt that. Narco-terrorists, corrupt, disarmed population, enslaved by the Aztecs, and enslaved by the Spanish, and enslaved by the French, and enslaved by the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, never having any freedom, totally shoved around and controlled. And we're taught in school. I was taught. I was doing good in my art class here in Austin. Then I'm getting to the big news, folks. The big news is coming up. The huge news. And I was getting A+ and all this, and the teacher said, I want to choose you, because I'm taking one person from each class to a special workshop at the University of Texas. Would you like to go, Alex? It's a field trip. And I said, sure. I mean, I was a senior. I had basically all my courses done. I said, sure, I'll go to UT. And I was brought into UT, the Art Center, And they had a Hispanic guy come in and say, whites are evil, America's evil, the Reconquista, we're taking America down. And it was all great rapture. And I started questioning him, and I said, well, Mexico